When Edge first sat on his gothic throne of omnipotence back in 2022, nobody would have predicted that 4 years later we'd still be seeing the Judgment Day week in and week out on our screens. In that same length of time, Edge got kicked out of his own group, had a farewell WWE match against Sheamus, left the company, joined AEW, broke his leg jumping off a cage, returned from injury, reunited with his old friend Christian, and won the tag team championships with him. The Judgment Day really are the post-apocalyptic cockroaches of WWE, having seen betrayals, hostile takeovers, and probably more members than the NWO. But who is the absolute best? Today, we're ranking every single member, from the absolute pinnacle of the group, all the way down to the punching bag at the bottom. Hit that subscribe button for more wacky wrestling breakdowns, and let's get into it. Number 10, Carlito. Well, somebody had to finish in last place. At the bottom of our gothic totem pole, we find the master of Caribbean cool himself, Carlito. At first, it seemed like a strange choice by creative to cram a ruthless aggression era superstar into an already formed and well-defined group such as the Judgment Day, but honestly, it kinda worked. During the summer of 2024, Carlito defected from the LWO to join the dark side, but let's be honest, he was mostly just here for the Clubhouse. The master of WWE 2K25 was great for a quick laugh in a backstage segment, but he was never the guy moving the needle or main event in any pay-per-views for the faction. Carlito would be unceremoniously dumped from the group following his release from the company, just mysteriously disappearing one week and never being mentioned again. Keep it cool, Carlito. Keep it cool. Number 9, Raquel Rodriguez. Coming in hot at number 9 in our list is Raquel Rodriguez. The enforcer of the group, who first joined the ranks of the Judgment Day at the tail end of 2024, was often seen by fans as lacking in substance or any discernible character, other than, look at my big muscly back, isn't it so big and muscular? When the original core had started to fracture, the new era of the group desperately needed some raw physical muscle. And whilst not exactly being the second coming of Rhea, Rodriguez comfortably plugged the Ripley-shaped hole in the faction. She stepped in perfectly as Liv Morgan's towering bodyguard, protecting the Women's Championship and bringing tag team gold back to the dark side. But when your only job is to stand there looking tall, you don't earn a top 5 spot in my list. Number 8, Roxanne Perez. At number 8, we have the newest addition to the cult of creepiness, Roxanne Perez. After a dominant run down in NXT and a massive showing at the Royal Rumble, I think it's fair to say that she definitely lives up to the Prodigy tagline. When Finn Balor invited her to the Clubhouse to replace an injured Liv Morgan, he injected a massive dose of cutthroat energy, right when the faction was starting to go stale. For the 19th time. Now, we're still waiting for the inevitable blow-off for all that unresolved tension between her and Liv. But since Triple H likes to book his storylines as if all his wrestlers are cryogenically frozen immortal beings that have no expiration date, we might be waiting for a while. She's a top tier worker, undoubtedly, but until that trigger gets pulled, only time will tell where the Prodigy actually ends up. Number 7, JD McDonough. Taking the number 7 spot in our list is the bobble-headed punchbag JD McDonough. Every great heel faction needs a fall guy to take the beatings. The Nexus had Heath Slater, the Core had Heath Slater, and 3MB had Heath Slater. But the Judgment Day had JD McDonough, and he plays his role to absolute perfection. Now, it's not been all bad for the secondary Irishman of the group. He's enjoyed a few tag title reigns through being a member of the Spooky Society over the years, but let's be honest, he's never been a main event focus of the group, despite being one of its longest serving members. Regardless, you have to respect a man who knows his role and shuts his mouth. At number 6, it's Edge. It feels strange putting a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time, so low down on our list, ranking an upper mid-card stable, but hey, here we are. At number 6 is the ultimate opportunist, Edge. While he is an undeniable legend, the Judgment Day phase of his career certainly won't be making the highlight reel. It felt like Edge was going through a midlife crisis at the time, desperately trying to relive his Brood days. But in much the same way that your divorced dad likes to break out the electric guitar at Christmas, it just felt a bit sad. Honestly, being kicked out of his own group was probably the best outcome for Edge in the long run. He may have created the concept, the aesthetic, and recruited the first few members, but the truth is that the faction didn't really hit its stride until the old man got kicked to the curb. Number 5, Finn Balor. If you were in charge of creative, what would you do with a bona fide indie legend who finally makes it to the big time, wins the top prize, and then gets injured on the very same night? If your answer is to have him linger around the mid-card for the next 10 years, then congratulations, WWE is hiring. When Finn first joined the JD, he was devoid of direction and purpose. Then after joining the faction, he was still devoid of direction and purpose. But hey, at least he was wearing some cool purple clothes now. When Edge got ousted, the group needed a main event level veteran to legitimize them. Finn Balor was that guy. As one of the group's longest tenured members, Balor put on an absolute clinic most weeks, whether it was in the tag division or chasing that elusive second world title. Just a few months ago, he was finally relieved of his duties by Dominic and the rest of the gang, setting him free from the JD vortex and hopefully onto greener pastures. Number 4, Damian Priest. If we're talking about superstars that have clearly benefited from their time in the group, then there's a strong argument for Damian Priest being this high on our list. From being a relative newcomer on the main roster to winning Money in the Bank and even a world title, it's safe to say that the Judgment Day absolutely skyrocketed his stock in the company. As the very first member recruited, and the original muscle of the group, Priest was the physical backbone of the faction for years, even going on to form the Terror Twins dynamic with Ripley once the group splintered off. Now it's a bit of a shame to see him tumbling down the card in recent months, but hey, you can always say he's a former world champion, and it's highly likely that absolutely none of that would have happened without the Judgment Day. That's not bad going for an Undertaker ripoff. The Honourable Mention. Now, before we reach our own mountain of omnipotence in the top 3, we have to give a special mention to an honorary member of the Clubhouse, R-Truth. Whilst never officially being a part of the stable, we all wish he was. His months-long delusion that he was a member of the faction gave us some of the funniest segments in JD history. He's literally the current tag team champion alongside Damian Priest right now, so hey, that's good enough for me. Number 3, Liv Morgan. Just when the Judgment Day was getting stale for the, checks notes, 24th time, in steps Liv Morgan to spice up the dynamic of the Clubhouse. She orchestrated the greatest hostile takeover in WWE history. She infiltrated the group, stole the title, stole the man, and completely remolded the Judgment Day in her own image. It's crazy to think that such a feat was even achievable, but she pulled it off flawlessly. Looking at the group right now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Liv was there from the very start. Forget the heist of the century, Seth Rollins couldn't have pulled off what she did. Number 2, Dominic Mysterio. Falling just shy of the top spot on our list is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Except before he joined the Judgment Day, he may as well have gone by the moniker Squeaky Clean Dominic, or Just Happy to Be Here with My Dad Mysterio. When Dom first joined the main roster, he faced the gargantuan task of breaking free from the huge shadow of his tiny father. But as it turns out, all it took was one well-placed kick to the nuts, and the rest was history. From spending a single night in a local holding cell and coming out as a hardened criminal, to seemingly serving as the official toy boy for half the Raw roster, Dominic has evolved more than anybody else in this faction. Well, except for one. And number 1, Rhea Ripley. Taking her rightful seat on the spooky leather throne at number 1 is everyone's favourite emo dommy mommy, Rhea Ripley. Ripley is the undeniable gold standard of the Judgment Day. She set the attitude, she set the aesthetic, and she set the bar for the entire group. She walked into the faction as a dominant force and a former NXT champion, but she walked out as a once-in-a-generation WrestleMania main eventing megastar. By becoming a multiple-time world champion and the youngest Grand Slam champion in WWE history, male or female, she's arguably the most recognisable person on the active roster today. And almost all of that momentum boils down to her incredible run in this very faction. She is, without a shadow of a doubt, the greatest member in the history of the Judgment Day. Do you agree with my ranking? Should Dirty Dom have taken the top spot over Rhea? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this list, make sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my latest episode of Rate That Reign, where we look at Jey Uso's world title reign on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.